The constable spun on his cane and stomped from the cottage. The slender door banged in the swirling wind. Darkwell pulled the door closed, feeling the cold air on his face. He shivered, but not from the cold. He shivered in anger that his work would be interrupted. He was about to finish his most magical creation yet. He couldn't allow the foolish, ignorant villagers to destroy his masterpiece. Darkwell leaned over the workbench all night, his hands working feverishly. He got out the lotion, and now he held the doll in front of him. Those fools will be sorry, he told the doll. They have pushed me too far. Once you are finished, we will make them sorry they are alive.
You can't scare me, not with the basement of botany. Maybe a sentient dummy, calling our
Boo dudes. Long boo because it's a spooky season. I am, of course, Frankenpoo. I'm here with Pignut from the Pink Lagoon. And we're rolling out. It's Halloween time.
You went from like Halloween Winnie Pooh straight to Guy Fieri.
Yes.
And we're here. And you know why we pull out all those stops? It's the 30th fucking anniversary.
Hey, happy anniversary, Dave.
This fucking series has a receding hairline.
Man, 30 years. That is crazy.
I feel like R.L. Stine was born with a receding hairline.
Oh,
well, I guess most babies are.
Yeah.
I feel like his hair grew in, and then he went to kindergarten, and they gave him his like typewriter and fucking receding hairline all together.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what was issued to him.
Yeah, I did read that all his hair was concentrated around his mole, and then it over time migrated, spawned new hair inside of his ears, inside of his nose, and then the top of his head. Perpetually an old man.
Okay, I was gonna think he went puberty. Instead of his hair just like going down there, like getting some extra, it was just like take it from the top, throw it down to the bottom. We gotta get this done. And that's why he was a virile 8-year-old. Maybe, I don't know. We didn't read his biography book.
No, but we know that he looks like he fucks.
Yeah, we know he does. I mean, he has grandkids, which means he grand fucks.
Yeah, there's incontrovertible evidence that he has fucked.
So R.L. Stine fucks so hard that what he fucked out of him also fucks.
That's
nuts.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yep, it fucks nuts. And Dave, I want to catch up with you a little bit in this spooky ass season. I think all the listeners want to know, how's your butthole?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I actually completely forgot. It's been so long.
Yeah, when did we record? Was that July? Or
I don't know, August?
Right.
September.
So months.
Yeah, you know us. On our shit again. Yeah, so for people who don't know, maybe this is your first episode. Probably not, because why would you be here? But
why would you listen to, what is this book called? Slappy's Revenge? Slappy Beware.
Slappy Beware, which I have problems with the name immediately.
Yeah.
But we're going to get there in a little bit. Yeah, so I was shitting blood. Well, not shitting blood. That's like not, but you know, I was every time I wiped it was straight blood for, let's say, over a month. Daily.
Let's say. Yeah.
Let's say. So I went to the doctor and he was just like, nah. That's not how, you're a young pup. That's not how it goes. And then he did a little check the dipstick and looked at his bloody hand and was just like, well, that's a good amount of blood.
Like, you know, when you put like a pH strip in a pool, it's
Yeah.
much like that. And when he retracted it, it said, uh-oh, ass blood.
Yeah. The cool thing is that he was like, I'm going to test the blood.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, you know, he was going to like go in there with some sort of receptacle, blood, maybe, I don't know, like a little sucker thing.
Sure.
Like a little syringe or something, just
Yeah.
pull the blood out. No, he just took like the test and just started wiping it on the bloody glove hand that he just had in my ass.
Oh, boy.
And I was
Wasted
like, that's
no
just
time.
residual blood. That was just extra blood.
Mhm.
I got way more. I'm like a blood factory, or I was.
Wow, way to brag.
Because I needed to get a colonoscopy. That's an adventure. That's a procedure because like it's a buildup for days.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a Infinity War and then it's Endgame. Like it's
Yeah.
so they're like, hey, here's the shopping list, which is a wild thing because normally it's like, don't eat, drink water until this point, no
Yeah.
coffee. There's like, you got to start 48 hours before and being like, okay, don't eat
Wow.
seeds.
Okay.
And in my head, I'm like, what am I, a fucking parrot? Like, I'm not going to. But then I
Right.
realized, what's the best bagel? The answer is always one with good seeds on it. So
Uh-huh.
I had to go plain bagel that Monday. And then you can't have anything that's, fibrous or whatever. And then the next day is when it hits. You have to only drink Gatorade or clear
Okay.
liquids.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't be a blue, a red, or an orange, I think. Certain dyes. Like you basically, so of course, my favorite Gatorade. Now I don't know how I feel about it. The Jizzy White one. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Is that a Frost?
It's a Frost one, I think. It was
Yeah.
when I think they were introduced as Frost Gatorades,
Uh-huh.
but it just made its way into the normal
The Pantheon
lineup. It's like Arctic Blast or Arctic Freeze or something.
What's the flavor on that?
Snow.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's
that
snow-based.
tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't
Pineapple?
because like I don't know if it's
No.
it reminds me of the white Airhead too.
The mystery flavor.
It's just white flavored, I think.
Okay. I'll roll with that.
It's an Anglo-Saxon flavor.
Sure.
No, I don't.
Sure.
I don't know what it is, but it's whatever that is. So, so you have to buy laxatives,
Mm-hmm.
and you need a certain amount of them, and
Like laxatives with stimulants so you can blast things out of your asshole, or like stool softeners?
both.
Okay.
So first, you need to buy laxatives. The laxatives are pills, and you need a certain amount. I learned the smallest amount you could buy is a pack of 8, which is funny because I didn't need 8. So now I have extras, which makes me the funniest guy in any 80s movie. If anybody crosses me, I could just be like, I cooked brownies for the bake sale.
Yeah.
and
then 20 minutes later, ooh,
Yeah.
people are clutching their little cheeks.
I'm the dean and I can't stop shitting. But so you do that and you got to eat those every so often or whatever. And
Sure.
at this point, there's no food for over 24 hours. You cannot have anything solid.
Man, that's rough.
The only food that they offer that you can have is Jell-O. But again, they're like, no this dye, no this dye, no this dye. And I'm like, fuck it.
You need the Arctic freeze Jell-O.
Exactly. Or you can have plain chicken broth.
Okay.
Which I had once, but it was so depressing to take a pot out of your kitchen,
Sure.
put it on the stove, and
Heat
start
up some brown liquid.
cooking yourself. Yeah. You're like, ingredients, pour brown liquid from like cardboard fucking Capri Sun pouch.
Yeah.
Heat.
And then follow up, blow brown liquid out of your butthole.
So I didn't even, because I was like, do you put it in a bowl? Like I just put it in a mug and drank it. And I was like, this is
the
just
most efficient.
Odd. But what you need to do is then get a certain amount of Gatorade and an entire bottle of Miralax, which is the stool softener.
Yeah.
And it comes with like, it's just a big ass bottle of powder. And they're like, you're going to drink it all. Like you're going to drink all of it. So you have to like measure it out and put it into 2 big Gatorades. And then you have to drink every like 3 hours. You have to finish one. So it's like pace yourself out and finish it. Pace yourself out and finish it. Then the shits come. And it's wild because you're shitting out actual shit in the beginning. But after a while, you're just like, whatever you just put in is just coming out on the other end. And the reason it's clear is because you're just like running. It's like when you need to clean your Keurig, which no one does. Like, there's those little pods that like you just keep running it through until it's clear.
Yeah.
It was like I was shitting shit colored water for a while. Then it was neon green colored water, which didn't make sense.
Oh.
Then I was just shitting clear. Like I was literally, the water was coming in one way and I was just pressure washing it through the other way. Then I went to the doctor, the surgical center. They brought me in there, gave me a nice dress, laid down, and they put me to sleep, laying sideways, greased up my butt, went in there, figured out what was going on. Turns out I had polyps,
Oh, sure.
and he said very large polyps and multiple polyps. So they had to take all those polyps out, and also I had like a lumpy intestine, so
Okay.
they had to take a chunk of that out.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent it out to the cancer guys,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave me the thumbs up, and then they were like, no cancer, just lumpy.
Okay.
So since then, and he was like, hey, just so you know, I know you're not feeling well or whatever, we just cut the inside of your butt off. But they're like, if there's any blood, don't freak out. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I haven't been freaking out for months. Like,
Yeah. I think the
like,
initial problem was that you did not freak out.
exactly, yeah. So no blood out my butt since then.
Great. Okay.
Very good. No cancer.
Yes.
Exciting.
Always
That's a good
nice.
answer.
Mm-hmm.
And a healthy butt.
Nice.
Good butt, healthy butt, but I do have a tendency to grow things in my ass. I'm like the chia ass.
You have lumpy tubes, but honestly, that's fine.
Got a fertile ass.
Yeah.
Ready to grow.
Yeah.
Don't salt this land. It's ready. But every 5 years now I need to go get my ass checked.
Sure.
Just to make sure I'm not growing any more polyp.
Yeah. Well, it's a ticking clock for all of us, right? They keep lowering the age when you're supposed to start getting colonoscopies.
They made it higher. So
Oh, okay.
originally, even just like the oil change or whatever, like when they check you out with the finger, that was supposed to be like once you hit 30. Now they say like a blood test is fine, so they don't give a shit.
Okay.
But,
yeah, when I go to the doctor, he does like put his finger in the top of my butt crack and he says, "I'm checking your oil." And it just gives me a little fright, you know.
Yeah. He goes,
but
gotcha.
I like it. I like it.
Gotcha. You got little hairs growing there? Neat. I'm your doctor. Let me write this down in my little journal.
He liked it. That's what he writes.
Yeah, it was oh, and by the way, you won.
Wait, so how much
I shit 4 pounds.
Oh my God.
Literally, I weighed myself. So even to be sure, I weighed myself like before I couldn't eat and everything. And then I weighed myself the morning after not eating, and I thought like I shit everything, but like just overall water and poop on the walls of my body. I imagine everything inside of there is covered in poop. Esophagus, lungs, it's all poop.
Head to toe, tip to tail, covered in shit.
Covered in shit.
Yeah, we all are. I know it's gross. It's actually nice in a way. Did you feel kind of nice that you got all that out of there?
It was an experience. Like every now and then I used to get this one Mexican combo D from a place near the comic shop. And it was well known that it was basically, think whatever they gave me in those powders and stuff, it was all that and 2 burritos. And I would do that every now and then just to like clean myself out. Now that I'm saying this, I'm just kind of like, makes sense that I was bleeding from my ass for a month. Man, I've been treating this ass like a hoopty. I've been just riding it.
Yeah.
Put a spoiler on it and just eat donuts in the fucking parking lot when it snows.
You're changing out that muffler a lot. That's what I know.
I sure am. But thank you to all the listeners who reached out to me about my broken ass.
Oh, that's very nice.
And for all the people who listened and didn't really understand, Bad Hair Day, then Haunting with the Stars, and then this one, you'll get Matt and my full
butt talk,
butt adventures of butt health.
And we'll cool it on the butt talk in 6 months. In our next episode, no butts, we promise.
No ifs, ands, or anuses about it.
That's right, baby.
But this is a special holiday. It's not Butt Day. It is the anniversary of Goosebumps.
That's right. It's the anniversary of Goosebumps, and it's the 30th anniversary.
Wild,
crazy.
Do you know how many books this guy wrote?
62 in the original series. Hundreds of other books.
In this one, he says 150, which I feel like that's not right.
I feel like it's more.
I feel like it's more. But I feel like at this point, they were like, how many you write? And he's like, 150.
Yeah. How could he know? Yeah.
Because he's written like once a month since like
80
something.
Right.
When he was doing like
attributed to him is more, right? Because there was the ghostwritten series was what? Goosebumps 2000 or one of the series was ghostwritten.
I think the Choose Your Own Adventures was.
Yes, I think that's right.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, like, who gives a shit? Because we tried to read one, and it was like about a comic shop, And it was like, hey, there's a back door. Do you want to go in it? And you're like, yeah. It's like, you go down a slide. Do you want to make a right or left? Left. Frankenstein is there. He's mad. Do you want to run towards him or run away from him? It's like, run away from him. He's like, all right, Frankenstein's gone. Like, and we're like, what does this have to do with
He's
anything?
mad.
That's literally, we have that episode that we recorded at the live ZapCon panel.
Yeah.
And we were like, this will be exciting going in blind.
Yeah.
There was nothing exciting about the book or reading to strangers in an audience.
It was reviled. People booed us off the stage.
Yeah. I cried.
Yeah. But good memories. Good memories.
Good times.
I don't know. Should we just talk about it? Should we set the stage with Slappy history?
Yeah, so this book came out September 20th, 2022. It's 165 pages with 35 pages of extras, which I enjoyed looking through.
I didn't read them, but I flipped through and I saw it's fun content for kids. Honestly, we'll talk about this, but I like the presentation of this book is very satisfying to me. Like
I wanted to say this too. So everybody only comes in hardcover.
That's right, baby.
And fuck Amazon. But while I was searching this book today to remember what the fuck I read last week, it's $7.99 on sale right now.
What a deal. Now, Dave, you graciously gifted this to me.
I did.
Which is so nice.
At full price, may I say.
At full price, which I appreciated. And I will say a month ago, I was in Salem for a bachelor party. And we went into a bookstore. And I went upstairs into the kids section because I was like, I'm here. I'm in another state. I'm going to check out that Goosebumps section.
I do the same thing every time I'm in a bookstore.
Yep. And they didn't have a ton, but they did have this book. They had several copies. Yeah. And this was the week before this was scheduled to be released.
Holy shit.
That did blow my mind. But I said,
that,
you know what?
Stine? Send your cops after them.
That's right. Shut down that independent bookstore immediately. I'll post the name and I'll put them on blast.
Yeah.
But it got me hyped up to read this because I got to hold it in my hand. It's just very satisfying to do the hardcover. The inside is very nice. It's like wallpaper of the many faces of Slappy. And it has a Joker ha 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 all throughout.
His eyes glow on the front. They have glossy parts. It's just it's a nice package altogether. It's like the what was it? The Garbage Pail Kids. Those Garbage Pail Kids books that R.L. Stine writes are terrible, but the presentation of them are gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know if this is embossed or debossed. I can't even tell if it's sinking in. I guess it's embossed.
You're the boss.
Hey, come on. But it's just really nice. And it's because it reminds you too of now when you get a Goosebumps book, you can't feel the texture of the title. You know how you used to be able to feel that on the cover?
Yeah, funny enough, that's what they did for R.L. Stine's Blind Son, so he could feel.
That's right. Forgot all about that. How could
feel? Oh, this is my dad's book. I'm so proud of him.
That's right. Yeah.
Wish I could see.
What's this? A mole on the left side. This is my father.
Yes. Thanks for picking me up from soccer practice. Just kidding. I'm blind. I couldn't find the ball.
They make him goalie, which I think is mean.
Yeah. Most of the kids just aim for him because they're that's the nice thing to do.
Yeah. Right.
This is not mean. He wrote Beetlejuice the musical or some shit.
He's
so
fine.
Leave him alone.
They're all millionaires.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, Dave. So September 20th, you said?
Yeah. Cover is by Brandon Dorman, who does a lot of the current covers. It's nice.
It's nice.
We got a Slappy on the front. Looks like him from the movie.
Uh-huh.
His eyes are glowing red. It's neat.
It's cool.
Nice cheeks.
Hey, thanks.
So something that surprised me, this is the 16th book in the Slappy saga.
Yeah, that is surprising. I mean, it's not because Slappy is a flagship. I know that's a moneymaker. But also, there's 3. Yeah, go on.
If you think about it, that's if you one whatever, that's one every 2 years of this series.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. I feel like most of them were probably stacked in the later side of things,
I think
but
so. Yeah.
because like now they're doing like the dummy meets the mummy, which is like
right.
the more I think about it, the jokes in that are probably fucking painful, and I'm excited to figure out what they are.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
like, I need to keep this under wraps. And you're like, oh.
right. Right. Um, but so does that number? Do we know if that incorporates the Slappy World stuff?
I don't think they do.
Okay.
I think it's just books that are about Slappy.
Okay.
Because Slappy World itself has 17 books.
Okay. That's
And
fair.
weirdly enough, the Goosebumps Goosepedia, or whatever the fuck they call themselves, they say that this is technically a Slappy World book.
Okay.
I'd say it's not. The thing that's strange about it is what makes a Slappy World book a Slappy World book is that every now and then Slappy will pop in and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you reading a book? Neat. I touched a rat." Man, like
Yeah.
it's just,
He's like, I'm here too.
yeah,
You
the main
suck.
character is a dummy, and I am also that.
Yeah.
Get
Fuck you, asshole.
So, like, the cool thing about that is that this is technically, I'd say this is like a Robert's World book. Because every now and then, R.L. Stine will pop in and be like, "Hello, I'm R.L. Stine."
That's right. That's
'Cause
right.
The opening of this book is so fucking funny because he's just like, "This is a neat book. It is very different. It is a hardcover book. Do you feel how hard the outside is? Isn't that exciting?" Like, there's so many parts of this book where he's like,
Yeah.
it starts off with R.L. Stine here, everyone, which
Yes, in all caps. So he's
my
screaming.
my my first notes on this were like, I finished reading that whole forward exclusively in his voice.
You gotta. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, when the first few words are R.L. Stine, his voice will follow in your head. And look at all the formatting choices he makes. You got itals, you got bold. I've never seen bold in a Goosebumps book before. This is crazy.
He's really pulling out the stops for the 30th anniversary.
And
He was just like,
small
"We
caps,
need-
big caps.
We need bazooka font." And they're like, "Sorry, RL. They stopped using that after Windows 98." And he's like, "Bazooka font."
This thing's lousy with bazooka. Look at all this, Dave. I'm showing Dave the first few pages of the book, which have all these titles,
it's
and they're
insane.
all in bazooka.
So that kind of goes into one of my favorite things. They don't really treat this too much like the 30th anniversary. You'd expect it to say it all over the fucking place. But on the front, you get like special Goosebumps. On the back, you get a little bit exclusive Slappy art, stuff like that. There are
Yeah.
pages of full pages of art.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, they go through and they list every single current Goosebumps book that's out.
Right.
So like the Goosebumps classics, the Halls of Horror, Most Wanted, Slappy World. And my favorite part is that they put the ads printed once you finish the story. So you can look at all the covers for like Most Wanted, and like it would have been cool if they could do the original Goosebumps, like all the covers lined up and stuff.
Yeah.
But like to see all the Horrorland, all of like the, you know, the reprints, the third reprints and stuff. It's just really cool to see all of that together and just like,
Yeah.
it's an ad, yes, but it's also kind of the legacy of Goosebumps, which is fun to see.
Yeah, and they've traditionally, even in the original books, right? Like they would have all this stuff in there, and it was part of the experience.
Yeah. And even there's a page only about Slappy. It just says there's a son of Slappy, Slappy birthday to you, I'm Slappy's evil twin,
Yeah.
the ghost of Slappy, the dummy meets the mummy, diary of a dummy, my friend Slappy, Slappy in Dreamland, and then Night of the Living Dummy 2, 3, Bride of the Living Dummy. So
Hell yeah. Do we want to do a time and place for this?
not really. It was
It was
like what, a
yesterday,
couple weeks ago.
so, yeah.
Where were you September 20th?
I was home, just pulling on my pud. How about you?
You know, putting up, putting off.
Yep, honking pud. So let's see. Slappy, you know him, you love him, and
Dude, I love that guy.
you should beware him.
Oh,
yeah.
One thing I forgot to say. one thing that I forgot to say about this book is he did his own alt title.
Did he do his own alt title?
Yeah. So apparently this book originally was supposed to be called Slappy's Terrible, Horrible, Very Bad Day.
All right.
As he said, it's an obvious homage to the book Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible,
Yeah.
No Good, Very Bad Day.
Yeah, we got that.
Obviously. We've all read it.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
I have read it.
Wait, have you?
Yeah, it was a big thing in school. Not in your school?
No.
Oh, baby.
We didn't have the money for all those days. We just had Alex's okay day.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a cute idea because this book does get cute. It's a ride. I mean, this book is fucking crazy. And it's in a good way, I think, ultimately.
It feels like he was writing Haunting with the Stars or whatever, but the whole time he was just like, fuck this shit. I got to get on my Slappy time.
Yeah. And he goes full bore. I mean, I really I felt it all reading this book. I initially did not like it. Then it won me over. It starts out really dark, gets like silly, then goes dark again, and then is basically silly for the rest of it. But I don't know. This is a strong entry in the Slappy verse, I think. And I wonder if we should just get into it.
I think so. I also think if you have not read Goosebumps in a long time, if people were like, oh, I haven't read any, this is the one to pick up.
This is a good starting point for sure. I was telling you when I got this book, when you sent me this book, we didn't have a plan. Like I thought we would do this book, but we didn't like have a date or anything. So I was like, I'm just going to read it. And I really enjoyed it. I think I read it in like embarrassingly in like 4 parts. And before bed or whatever. And I just enjoyed it again because the tactical or is that what the word I'm looking for? Yeah. Just the way that tactile. Yes. Thank you. Just the way it felt in my hands and I don't know. I just enjoyed it. It was sort of like a return to form.
It feels good. Like just the paper and everything with it. It just feels nice.
It feels nice. You're going to enjoy it.
You're going to like it.
You're going to like the way you look.
You're going to love my nuts.
You're going to love my nuts. I guarantee it. And we start. So here's the crazy thing that I haven't seen, and I would dare to say you haven't seen since, like both of us haven't seen this since Night in Terror Tower, where we do some time hopping. And we start out 200 years ago, Dave. Can you believe it? Was there ever such a time?
It's so fucking long.
That's so fucking long. That's
like when R.L. Stine was born.
Oh my God, I know. He was there, him and Lincoln, watching that play.
The bullet went through Lincoln's head and got enlarged in R.L. Stine's, and that's the mole we know.
That's the mole we call it a mole, but it's a hole.
I love too that like it's 200 years ago. It may as well be fucking Game of Thrones with how he describes it.
Yeah,
he's like 200 years ago there were dragons and wizards.
Well, for sure, yeah. And when you're a kid, it's like 200 years ago is like thousands of years ago.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's just like not now. Anything that's not now is ancient.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have this part 1, and it's set up in a way where we don't dive into it yet, but it's like RL is positing and like having this conversation about where did Slappy come from? Like, what's the genesis of Slappy, which is kind of dumb, right? Because it's like, well, if you just like got into the story, you could tell us directly. But there's a little bit of foreplay here. And what I do like is
sexy.
And he starts it off by saying, some say that an evil magician carved him out of wood from a haunted coffin. One story goes that he escaped from a puppet factory in Cincinnati. Another legend says that the ghost of a 10-year-old boy lives inside Slappy's head. And then he goes into the actual story. I will say that all of those suggestions that he posits here, I think, are better than what he actually does.
Well, actually, those are the old origins that he has offered at different points.
Yeah.
But the one that we know is not true is that the 10-year-old boy's ghost is not in Slappy's head, because I think it's what? Night of the Living Dummy 2 that we learn specifically that only sandwiches are left in this nasty boy's
That's
head.
right. Yeah.
But you hated the beginning. I didn't mind it because the writing is at a different caliber. This is fantasy writing. He called up his good buddy. He's like, "Hello, this is R.L. Stine. Is this my friend George Railroad Martin?" And like George Railroad Martin called, and he's like, "Yeah, I finished Elden Ring. They're doing this whole dragon bullshit with Doctor Who. He's fucking the fucking niece, and I got stuff to do."
Yeah. And they put their heads together on this wizard shit. I like this stuff because I like that we're occupying another space and time. We don't get that a lot in Goosebumps. And all of this, of course, as ever, through the prism of like, this is a book for children, blah, blah, blah. But none of this shit is earned. It's like, there's this conflict so there's a wizard called Darkwell.
What's his first name? Ephraim.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Ephraim Darkwell. An old sounding name.
Yeah, Ephraim Darkwell.
Yeah.
The puppet maker, they call him.
Yeah, heard of him?
Yeah.
And he lives in a little village.
My favorite sentence in this whole chapter, they just say, this is the whole sentence. It is, he is also a sorcerer.
Yes.
Which in my good writing, I wrote this. This is a little thing where I'm like, any book could be better if they just put this sentence in it.
Sure.
Like, I don't care. You're reading a book about fucking Abraham Lincoln, like we're saying. Like, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. He was also a sorcerer. Like, you're like, go on.
I'm listening. Yeah, and it's just like, he lives in this little village, and RL is setting it up so that there's a conflict between this wizard and some villagers, like the other people who occupy the town. Because it's the othering story, right? It's like Beauty and the Beast. It's like this person is seemingly different, so we're gonna fuck their shit up and run them out of town or murder them.
It's more like Beauty and the Pervert, though, because they're like, hey, this guy keeps building little people and like whispering to them and shit, and it's making us nervous.
It's fair. In many ways it is fair, but it seems like we don't get any of the background, right? So like on page 2, it's like, and RL keeps saying he meant the villagers no harm, which I sort of hate it. Like, I hate that set. It's just like, this is what he does, right? Like, he spells it out for you. Until yesterday, when Darius Coben,
sick name,
not a dork at all.
That's like a Star Wars name.
Yeah, I guess it is.
He sounds like somebody that could have shown up and made Andor interesting.
You mean the show we watched one episode of and abandoned because we didn't understand what the fuck was happening?
You just need to watch the first 3, and then it gets real boring.
But... Oh, well, no thanks. Until yesterday, when Darius Coben, the chief constable, burst into the cottage, grim-faced and wheezing in anger. That moment, Darkwell knew his pieces ended. And he says, like, you and your nephew must leave. You're not wanted. Your evil magic has frightened everyone. And Darkwell says, I am a simple doll maker. And this is the game they play back and forth, is like, he keeps saying, I mean no harm. I'm a simple doll maker. And it's just like, what have we done to get here? Like, I don't know. And then the worst,
just let me fuck these dolls. He's like, I'm the cops. He's like, I live on the outskirts of town.
Yeah.
I ain't hurting no one. Let me fuck my dolls.
Yeah. And
that's how Bratz dolls were made. That's why they look so nuts.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, how about this? I'll make you guys homies. You could put them in the gumball machines. The juggalos will love it.
Mm-hmm.
Do not speak of the juggalos. I'm the constable. Don't fuck these dolls.
And that's to say nothing about the Furbies. And he pulls back a curtain.
These dolls are alive. And then they start shooting with their 200-year-old guns.
Yeah. but it comes to a head for me because obviously there's like this confrontation eventually between Darkwell and the villagers, and like so basically as they're on their way over, Darkwell is building Slappy. Also, Darkwell has a nephew, and the nephew gets the shit kicked out of him because he's related to Darkwell, presumably.
And they like live together.
And they live together, right? His name is Isaac. Shout out Isaac, former guest, friend of the pod.
Yeah, your uncle's a pervert.
Yeah, you should shut that shit down. He's also making evil dolls now.
Yeah, and you live with them in your house under your nose, evil dolls?
Yeah.
Isaac, what the fuck?
Yeah. Come on. So I just think and there's a heel turn here too, because it's like, well, if they don't like me, then I'm going to make this doll evil. And his way of doing that is like he builds the doll, he says the magic words, which we all know, the Barack Obama Madonna words.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, if they're going to come here and murder me and kick the shit out of my nephew, I'm going to make you do evil stuff. And he's like, every day, Slappy, he wakes him up and he says, every day you have to do an evil thing, and that'll be my revenge on the villagers. And it's just very confusing because we know historically and also in this book that Slappy's idea of evil is like switching out, like putting salt in the sugar bucket, in the sugar container. So it's confusing.
I just know I have a nephew now. He's almost 2 months old. And if somebody beat him up, I'd kick their ass.
For sure.
I would make so many evil dolls about it. Their heads would be spinning.
Right. So it's strange, although I will say that the end of this little intro, which comes to a head, all the villagers come with their pitchforks and all that shit. And
also, they were all hooded men. So I was like, yo, is this like the Klan?
Well, yeah. But Darkwell's hooded as well.
Oh my God. Klan on Klan violence.
Oh my God. What kind of wizard is he?
That's a grand question you have there.
Yeah.
You ever? I don't know. Do you ever watch Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, I know of it.
So Yu-Gi-Oh, one of the biggest cards, I know very little Yu-Gi-Oh, is called the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, that's like their Charizard, but like it just sounds like a high-ranking clan member.
It sounds bad, yeah.
Right?
It does.
You're like, oh, he's the Blue Eyes White Dragon. He's a Nazi and a Klan's member.
Yeah.
I hate that. So,
so
that's
like
what we're
White
saying.
Walkers,
We're anti-Yu-Gi-Oh here.
Bad. Yeah. Yeah, so two cool things though, I will say, happen at the end of this intro that I generally don't like. Well, three cool things, because I went from numbers to letters. I'm going to go back to numbers. One,
All right.
The setting is different and nice, and I think he does a good job of establishing the setting. Two,
B,
it's
for oral, especially like I have whiplash going from the last book to this one.
Yeah.
And
in
that's
quality.
the release of those books literally month to month. So this is his next book. Well written.
Yeah, well written.
Especially for a younger age to get this kind of feel, but also have it be something that they could decipher. Really good.
Yeah. And the cool thing that I think that gets me back is when Darkwell puts a cold iron key in the back of Isaac's head and turns it, and his face like explodes and it opens, and there's like a little alien in there from Men in Black that just wheezes and passes away, and you feel bad because it's very cute.
That actually got me. Like, I was kind of surprised by that.
I was surprised by that as well. So the nephew is a doll. How about that?
And he like puts a key in his head and he just falls limp. They have very descriptive language of him just falling down, dying, and his head splitting open and like tubes and weird shit falling out.
Yeah.
Which, like, if the town is mad at you for making dolls, not the best move. to like
right, to do that at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's burning it all down, literally and figuratively, because he knows there's no going back. So my nephew, kill him. And then the second or the third cool thing that happens is that Slappy, as I said, historically, he's like, well, I'm going to, put saran wrap on the toilet seat, and that'll really get him. Then they'll be my servants. But here, he like casts his own little spell, Slappy does, on all the guys that are there, and they all like freeze in place and are paralyzed. And then there's one guy, the constable, is still like moving around and saying all kinds of stuff, and he's like, well, I'm holy or something, so that does nothing to me. And Slappy says, okay, that's cool, just watch this. And then he like uses powers to like throw him up in the air and like never come down. So he just goes into the atmosphere.
I wrote my notes. I read this probably a month ago.
Right.
And I had to go back and figure out what constable goes to space meant.
I mean, it's crazy. Like Slappy commits murder in the first 20 pages.
But it's just fucking wild that he can like decide that gravity doesn't happen anymore to this man. Then later he'll just be like, I know, tie their shoelaces together.
This is what I'm saying.
But it's so epic and crazy. And I love one of the things that R.L. Stine put in, and I feel like this was him covering his own ass, was like when Darkwell, before people are showing up to burn down his fucking hut, he talks to Slappy and gives him the curse, and he says, you will terrify people, Darkwell replied. You will scare them to death. You will make people scream and fright and cry, and you will make them your servants for life. For life, the doll repeated. I have given you a cute name, the sorcerer said, so that the people will not suspect your true nature. Your name is Slappy, and he's like, you must do evil. Like, it's just so ridiculous. And the funny thing is that, like, to know that, like, Slappy is the name, who cares? You read it in the first book, and he's like, why is your name Slappy? And he's like, 'cause fuck you, bitch. And he, like, slaps you.
Yeah.
But, like, to know that, like, 200 years ago, a wizard named him Slappy so that people would think it was cute, like, whatever. But I like that he, like, goes in and makes sure you will do evil. You will do unto them as has been done unto me. You are my revenge. And you must do evil every single day, or else you will die.
Yeah, Slappy has his own little curse.
Yeah, there is a curse. So Slappy needs to do evil every single day he's awake, which is the little... Because we know for a fact, like, he needs the Madonna words. There's so many books where he needs the Madonna words.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the kind of clause at the bottom, the little asterisk, that it's just like, hey, if you're asleep and you got Madonna, or your head got crushed by a fucking pavement flattener or whatever the fuck it is. How many times has his head popped on, like, a radiator or some shit?
Yeah, he's been eviscerated so many times.
So, like, if he's dead, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, man. You know, you're on disability right now. Once you come back, we'll put the curse back on. You got to do evil.
It's no problem. Yeah, it's child's play, too. The blood gets mixed into a new doll. It's fine.
Which, by the way, the show apparently is pretty good.
Is it? Really, I see the commercials for it. Yeah. Yeah. I like that the same guy is still doing the voice.
Well, for the last movie, Luke Skywalker did the voice.
Hamill himself?
He did. It was really good, actually. Wow. It was a very interesting... They did it where, like Chucky was app-based.
Right. This is the Aubrey Plaza one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that was very unrealistic was Aubrey Plaza as, like, a young mom. Like, she just didn't seem like...
Yeah, we can't get her out of our heads as...
She's like, I'm quirky and young. That's like being like, hey, yeah, there's this... older mother who just has had a rough life and hates fun, and she's played by Zoe Deschanel. You're like, nah, not gonna happen. Doesn't work. Or a young plumber. It's the plumber who's had a rough life ends up in a mushroom kingdom, and we'll make Chris Pratt.
God.
Yeah. Slappy's house, here I come.
A trailer I enjoy, except for the voice.
Yeah, dude. Why couldn't they just get Danny DeVito? I
Oh
said it
my
from the
God.
beginning.
Beautiful choice.
Detective Pikachu. Who do you get as the voice of Pikachu? Danny DeVito. Would have been great.
Yeah.
Mario. Danny DeVito. No one would have complained.
Yeah.
Go Jersey Italian.
Yeah. A sub above.
I mean, that's what people come to this podcast for, us talking about Mario's voice. But
yeah, it's a bummer. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather it be Ryan Reynolds, honestly.
really,
Between the two, yes, I'd rather it be neither of them.
I'd say like both, whatever. But
yeah,
but the rest of the
is
cast,
just, no thanks.
Charlie Day is a fun Luigi. That's fun for me.
Sure, I'll do a Jack Black. That's fine.
Jack Black's great,
Mm-hmm.
fun, but just not this.
Yeah. Anyway, so the book.
Yeah, we're barely through the first part. I'm sorry.
No. This is what we do. The book is split into 2 parts from here, so it's 3 parts total. 2 from here. 1 now we're present day. We're in Tampa, Florida.
Christmas time.
And this for about, I don't know, what would you say, Dave? 80 more pages. We're with Reggie and his sister Poppy, and this part of the story, I think, mostly mirrors like Night of the Living Dummy, right? Wouldn't you say?
100%.
Yeah, it's sort of like we got this ventriloquist doll, and weird stuff starts to happen, and it's a little spooky, a little scary.
I feel like this is 1 and 2 1000%. Like it's they Force Awakened.
They Force Awakened 100%. Yeah, which is part of the enjoyment. Like I think that's why it hooked me in, because I was like, this is familiar to me. It's well executed. It's not a worse version. It's just the same thing again. So again, Force Awakened.
And they updated it. There's new stuff. They talk about Minecraft. It's a new
talk
generation.
about Netflix. Yeah, stuff like that. So I don't know that we need to go beat for beat, but we do have Reggie and we have Poppy, and Poppy is the one who eventually gets the dummy because Reggie's already into ventriloquism and has his own doll, and just like shit starts happening because Slappy's already alive at this point, so they don't need to activate him.
Well, it's crazy too. So like. Yeah, so Poppy wants to play the banjo, but sucks at it in the talent show. So for Christmas,
she loves bluegrass, like an 8-year-old does.
Yeah, man, kids love their banjos. But
they love Steve Martin.
The one thing I thought was really kind of masterful on our good buddy RLS's head is he fucking made what's Mr. Wood like a franchise.
Yes.
So she wants a dummy for Christmas. So what the fuck was the name of Reggie's dummy? Like Junior or some shit?
Yeah, I think that's it.
So he has like a legit, like, how people get done. I don't know where you would buy a ventriloquist dummy other than online now. Like I feel like I
don't either.
The only place you can get them from are like pawn shops, and all of them at this point are cursed. All the non-cursed ones are in someone's basement waiting for a curse. But so she wants to get one, and she said that she went to Sackler's, which great ball sack name to Toy Store.
I mean, might as well be Sack Ticklers.
And their number one seller is Mr. Wood, which
I hate that we always go there, Dave. But when the joke presents itself, you gotta.
So you're getting a Mr. Wood from Sackler's?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is that what you want to give your daughter? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I got the Mr. Wood. Yeah, Sackler's was a little expensive. I went to Jizztown and they had a great deal.
I bought it from Dick Harderson.
Yeah. I went Butthole Monthly had a great coupon.
Yeah. I went to the Puss Factory and I found this. I found
Poopy
Mr.
Ding Dong.
Mr. Discharge.
Also a fart. But yeah. So they got a Mr. Wood. And slowly they learn that, like, hey, maybe this isn't a Mr. Wood. Maybe it's Slappy.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. Can I just go to the end of this section?
Do it.
Okay.
Well, there's just like little shit that happens. There was some good stuff in
It's
here.
good.
Though.
Yeah. I don't mean to gloss over it because it's bad. It's just like familiar and we only have so much time.
Exactly.
Um,
He does the thing where he goes to their aunts after Christmas. She says, touch me and I'll spit, which is a great thing that Slappy said.
Yeah.
When the aunt's like, cause I touch him.
Because there is reference to his vomiting in this book, although I think that comes later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's the whole thing where the brother doesn't want her doing ventriloquism. So his buddy Diego is like, how about you make it look like the dummy's doing stuff and get her in trouble?
Diego's
but the dummy's
obsessed with
actually
that.
doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Diego's the mastermind for all that shit. He's like, hey, why don't you go take your sister to the lake and drown her? Wouldn't that be funny?
So it's super good prank, Diego.
Yeah,
Thank you for your
cool.
input.
So just to fast forward to the end, like the dummy, like Slappy keeps doing evil shit around the house and the parents get mad. We've seen this before. So they take him back to the store. And this time we happen to go with them. And this is when shit gets great. I don't know if you enjoyed this as much as I did, Dave.
Oh, I loved it. The dialogue here. Oh,
so good. So the dad is in the store with the kids and he says, this doll, my daughter doesn't deserve it anymore. It's like tearing my family apart. So can you just take it back? And the guy who works there says, this isn't a Mr. Wood. It's something else. And Mr. Foreman, the dad, he compares the dolls that are on the shelf to Slappy, and he says, they don't look anything alike. I told you so. The clerk said, your dummy isn't Mr. Wood. Somebody switched it. Both men uttered startled cries as the dummy on the counter suddenly sat up on his own. He tossed back his head, opened his mouth wide, and laughed. Say hi to Slappy, the dummy cried in a shrill voice. I'm a bad boy. And this,
I love the I'm a bad boy with all caps, like 8 A's.
Yeah, great. Eyes wide with fear, he raised both hands and backed away from the counter. That's talking about the clerk.
Slappy raised both hands and flipped the bird.
Yeah, he like puts a spell on the dad.
He was erect while he did it.
Yeah, the spell is the dad gets rock hard and he says, now you're Mr. Wood. And he says some words to the inventory of dolls, and all the dolls, now there's like an army of Slappies. They all come to life and like surround the kids and Mr. Foreman and the clerk. And this part of the book ends with, hope you guys enjoy your holidays, Slappy cried. Knock on wood, ha ha ha. Now let's see what bad deeds I can do for New Year's, whatever, corny. But then we leave Reggie and his family. So the Foremans presumably have been murdered by an army of Slappy dolls.
So there's only one thing I didn't like about this part.
Mm-hmm.
In that he talks about the first book, about how he was like, I was like a puking champion. I fucking puked all over. So it's a throwback to the old book.
Uh-huh.
I would have loved for this to be before the original book.
Right.
And the reason why, because Mr. Wood's alive in the first book.
Right.
The reason that would have been fun would be if that was a remaining alive Mr. Wood from this Christmas. That would have been cool. Mm-hmm. Explaining that weird shit. Because, like, I mean, we just have to expect it to be like real life, where we know at this point in the current century, it's not 200 years ago, we know all ventriloquist dummies are cursed and alive.
They're all haunted, yeah.
Yeah, but in the book world, we have to suspend disbelief and imagine that someone needs to do the Madonna curse.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I would have enjoyed that.
No,
that's
I agree.
The only thing.
That's a great punch up.
Yeah, it would have been an awesome punch up, and it was right there, and he didn't do it.
Yep. I know it's frustrating, but what's cool is we get a second story. This is 2 stories for the price of 1. I mean,
and also like first kid's kind of shitty. Second kid might be my favorite kid in Goosebumps
Second
history.
Kid is great. And I'll tell you what, I even like the relationship between Slappy and this kid. And I like that they're sort of friends.
It's the best fucking part.
It's
I
great.
love it that Slappy's like, time to do evil. And the guy's like, yo, Slappy, we're buds. You fucking rule. And
Yeah.
we, like, I believe in you. It's like the first positive reinforcement that Slappy gets. And he
Yeah.
just has a good deal.
Yeah.
And
It's
it
great.
adds the tension because he needs to do evil every day. But also
Yes.
he kind of like likes where he is.
Yeah. And there is even a part where Slappy says, like, he's a good kid, but I gotta do the coin thing where you roll it down your face and you get a little line on your face. I gotta do it. I'm evil.
What?
The coin prank. It's like you roll a quarter down your face, or like you pretend you're doing it, but the quarter has you've gone over the side of it with a pencil so that you have somebody else do it. You say, I bet you can't roll this down your face. And then they get a little line down their face. You haven't heard of this?
Never. Never in my life. I've heard the like, hey, if they say your hand's bigger than your face, it means you have cancer.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then you hit
slap
them in the head.
Yeah.
See, the good thing about that is it means they don't have cancer though.
Right.
Like, yeah, it was the right size, but now you got slapped.
Yeah, which is good for Slappy, actually.
Slappy would love that
Maybe
joke,
that's
but
a
I don't.
better example.
Fun thing, 30 years, they never have cancer in the books.
Yeah. Which good
That's
for
why
them.
that's why the doctors needed to tell me I might have asshole cancer, just because they were like, yeah, your podcast needs more cancer in it. Their words, not mine. I know it's fucked, but bad doctors, man. My insurance barely wanted to pay because they're such bad guys. They have to do evil every day or else they'll go to sleep. It's fucked up.
You're telling me insurance is bad? Huh.
No. This isn't Canada. They're not going to give that shit away for free.
So this part of the book is very cute. And we're now with a whole new family, and they find Slappy in a dumpster, and the kid, although cute and I like him a lot, is also very stupid, and he
makes him
thinks,
cuter.
It does.
Makes him cuter. He's very simple.
He sees Slappy slumped over the side of a dumpster, and he says, hey, Dad, is that a man? Is that a man in a tuxedo?
That's a man in a tuxedo, and I think he's dead.
Yes.
Also shrunk by a wizard, perhaps, because he's smaller.
Yeah. And the boy convinces the dad to let him take him home, and the story just gets cute. Unlike the first part of the book, where Slappy is tormenting this family, Slappy now is like he's like a little jokester. He likes a spoof and a goof, and he's seen Impractical Jokers, and he really wants to have his hand at this. So this whole part of the book can be summed up in 7 quick little pranks. And can I roll them out for you, Dave?
Can I set the scene a little bit for
Please.
the family really fast?
Please.
So after he like screamed and said a doll attack on the dad, he just like decided to kill himself in a dumpster or some shit.
Yeah.
But so our buddies, father and son duo, they were like throwing a football around in a field, and decided to like walk through the back shitty alleys to get home.
Yeah.
And found this shitty dummy, and the only reason the son was allowed to keep it was if it didn't have bed bugs.
That's right.
So they're kind of this just like trash picking people of the earth kind. Just like we just like being together, having fun family. And I really appreciate them. By the way, all of this is in Tampa. Yeah. R.L. Stine was just like, well, they've been winning a lot of Stanley Cups, so we need to. And it's just, it's winter, it's Christmas, but it's warm. So they're doing outdoorsy stuff, which is important because we got important outdoorsy stuff to discuss soon.
Yeah. Yeah, and we know RL spending like at least half his year in Florida, wouldn't you say? Like he's a New York guy, but
he's a New York guy, yeah.
So
if he wants to go to Disney or Universal, I don't give a shit. I'll go with him. That's the thing. Everybody, we're going to make a Kickstarter, and it needs to be enough money to make R.L. Stine go to Disney with us. So it's probably gonna have to hit the millions.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
going to
this
be right because one ticket to Disney is like $9,000.
and this guy won't get out of bed for 2 mil.
No, no, he's got better things to do.
Yeah.
Cool. So Slappy starts again, right? He's like, obviously, he has to do something evil every day. He's with a new family. This is what he loves. This is his bread and butter. He's gonna do some shit, right? So here we go. Here's 7 things that Slappy comically tries to do and fails. They all blow up in his face. And we could talk about how they blow up if we want. Number 1, the first thing he tries to fill Bryce, the kid's name is Bryce. He tries to fill Bryce's waterproof backpack with water. Objectively funny. It's
Yeah.
funny. He's going to get into school. He's going to open his backpack. A bunch of water's going to fall out.
There's a problem there, though. It's winter break. He's not going to need his
He's
backpack.
not going to school. Come on. So that
Missed
water's
it.
just going to soak in there for a while.
Yeah.
That doesn't help Slappy today. He's going to fall asleep.
Fudge that one up.
Yep. Here we go. Second thing. Now, earlier, the dog like looked at Slappy or something. So prison rules. Slappy was like, that guy's going to die.
Yeah.
And he made a mental note of it at the time. And when the dog, Grover, is outside, he goes out, he unleashes the dog. The dog remains. The dog is very well trained, doesn't do anything. I think licks him, maybe, gives him some kisses. That doesn't work out. Third thing, on his way back inside, Slappy notices a big old spider. Grabs the spider. He says, spiders are creepy. I'm creepy. Match made in heaven. Here's what I'm going to do. Another funny thing. I'm going to put this spider in the mom's coffee, and she's going to be upset about that. And that's me being evil for the day.
Yeah. Mom's got a fucking vacuum pipe in that mouth. Mom loves... Mom's just a gulper. Mom loves to gulp.
Oh, she's gulping. And she gulps that spider down no problem.
Not even a second thought.
Not a second thought at all.
Extra protein for mom.
That's right. In fact, this didn't need to even happen because the dad comes in and he says, hey, before she even drinks it, he says, don't drink that. I didn't make this right. So I'm going to remake I'm going to make a new pot of coffee. But the mom's still like, it's fine. Coffee's coffee. Gulps it down. She's like, it's a little lumpy, but it's fine.
Literally did this last week. So there's a water main break and we have a boil water order.
Oh, no.
So I made a bunch of coffee and then they were like, hey, don't drink it. And I was like halfway through the cup. And I'm like,
it's fine. It's
I'll
boiled.
finish it. I'll do it later. Yeah. The Keurig probably boils water and is safe and healthy.
I mean, it gets real hot.
Yeah. Real hot usually kills all.
That's my understanding of science.
Pretty warm. It gets pretty warm.
Pretty warm.
Yeah, I put one of those cleaning pods through once. It's probably safe.
Yeah. What's the worst? The worst that can happen is it's like a cleaning pod for your body, as you said.
Yeah, my butthole was bleeding. I can drink bad coffee.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
come on.
fine.
Next
prank.
Prank number 4. There's Bryce's bicycle is outside the house. He's going to and fro with his buddies, and they're doing all kinds of shit. So he like messes with the brakes. And then what happens here, Dave? Like he doesn't ride the bike or something?
Yeah, because he was supposed to have his like dirt bike ready, but he said it didn't come in time.
Shout out
so
dirt bike.
Dirt bike, my cat. Shout out. So they were like, that's fine. We'll just go to the skate park.
That's right. Mm-hmm. The Ollie Zone. Shout out Caswell.
Yes, I have a fun. This was probably my favorite page.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Ollie Zone. How could we not?
Get in the zone. Ollie Zone. I feel like that's a very our area commercial.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I don't know if auto zones all over the place.
And we would go there 100%.
Yeah.
Prank number 5. He shoves Bryce into some cake batter when he's making cake with his friend and his mom. And the family just finds this hilarious. They love it. It's a good, old-fashioned good time. They just think Bryce is a little klutz, because of course he is. And they love it. They're taking photos. They're having a good little food fight. It's great. That didn't work. Number 6, save the best for second to last. They're going to go fishing. The family's going to go fishing. They have like a tackle box out. And as you might imagine, to fish, one must be H for the W. And in this case, they are. They're lousy with W's. And Slappy clocks this and he says, I'm going to put these little worms in the sandwiches that mom made for the trip. And that will be absolutely devilish. I will live another day. And they forget the sandwiches, Dave. Can you believe it?
Fucking idiots.
That's so like them.
Yeah, but they're kind of a carefree family.
Yeah.
That's just they're just like, with the wind. They just live life and love it. Also, they own a boat, which is wild to me.
Yes. Yeah. They're having fun down there in Tampa. And finally, the last thing before the end of the day that Slappy tries, he tries to murder Bryce. We go from worms and sandwich to murder pretty quick. But Slappy himself is now the klutz because he falls overboard and he's buoyant for now, but he might start sinking. And Bryce hops into the water, saves Slappy, all is well. But there's the opportunities now are few and far between. And Bryce's plan is to go to a party. I think it's like a family party. It's like his aunt's party, right?
It's like down the street or some shit,
Yeah.
kind of not that far. And his whole thing was like he was very excited. He'd been working on jokes. They're like, "You're not a funny kid. You're pretty dumb." But he's like, "Well, I've been like studying jokes.
Yeah.
I've been reading all these jovial some guy joke books, and I really want to tell jokes at this birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring my good friend Slapson
Yeah.
all the way there, and we're gonna tell good jokes. But
Mm-hmm.
and Slappy's so excited because if you've read any of these fucking books, a party and Slappy, like he's gonna bite a kid, he's gonna puke on somebody,
Yeah.
evil will happen.
He's gonna do some shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
He might do the cancer hand thing, or he might kill you. There's no in between. But what happens? He talks himself out of it, right? Or the dad talks him out of it, and they leave Slappy behind.
Yeah, because he's so wet.
Right. Yeah.
So they hung him up in like the fucking the bathtub.
Yeah. Which you're welcome, Slappy. We don't want you to get all moldy and musty. All right. But Slappy's devastated. He thinks he's gonna die, so he just starts walking. He starts hoofing it, and he goes at his little Slappy speed down the block to the party because he's gonna puke on someone. I mean, he simply must. And on his way over, who appears? Darkwell.
Wild, because we thought this guy got murdered by all the constables and clan members.
That's right, centuries ago. But the big old wizard's back, and he's got his floppy hat. He's wearing his little robe. He's got a staff, probably. And he says, guess what? I'm good now. And you are mean still. So I have to stop you, lest you either, call someone a dork or snap their neck. And Slappy says, Father, why would you forsake me? And eventually Darkwell says some words to put him to sleep forever. The end? Question mark?
Yeah, it's the end. Well, you forgot that he was so wet. And I don't mean vagina wet. Guys, grow up. We're not going to say that. That's so fucked up.
Everyone thought that, which I think is really grotesque. I mean, this episode isn't out yet, but I know that's what you're thinking, everyone. And it's really
fucked up too that it
perverted.
said it in the fucking like bottom of the page. It like there was an asterisk. You go to the bottom, and Arlstein's like, everyone's gonna think they mean vagina wet, which is messed up. This is a kid's book.
This
Grow
is
up.
a child's book, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe
And
I
I was
shouldn't, as a 77-year-old man, I probably shouldn't be writing this, but
I am 85 now. Now,
Yeah.
how old is? Hold on one second. Oh, wait, let's see. How old is Arlstein?
we should just know this.
Yeah, I think he's 80.
Is he 80?
He's 79.
Oh, 10 away from the sex number.
Oh my god. That would have been a good year. 10 years ago when our podcast was happening.
That's right.
Man, his Wikipedia photo is just stately. Like, it is fucking great.
Oh, I'm going to take a look.
Yeah, hold on. I'll take a peek at this.
Everybody.
Take a peek. Oh, hold on. Instead of making my photo show up, I actually muted you. So you're muted right now. And I muted myself. But the most important part is that you should unmute yourself and look at this fucking dude.
Now I
was so fucking excited about this photo that I destroyed our podcast. Oh, you have it on your screen too.
We're holding up the Wikipedia page for R.L.
We're
Stine.
Like high-fiving R.L. Stine photos right now over the internet.
It's like he's wearing a little medal. Oh, this is from this month.
What the fuck?
Stine in October 2022. Holy
this
shit.
is his month. What fucking medal did he win? Oh my god, it says right here, #1 pussy eater. 10 years in a row. That's crazy.
It says in quotes, "I will rim." What does that mean?
The craziest thing is that they have his signature. If you scroll down,
that's right. I see it. Looks like shit.
I'm just gonna order a stamp from Vistaprint right now so I could just sign everybody's books.
Yeah, amazing. I love it. He's the best.
I'm trying to think if ours look like that.
Our photos,
our signatures that we got from him.
Yeah, I think they do.
Maybe. Sick. His wife was born in 1969. He was probably so horny. That's why
no, they were married in 69, right?
Wait, what? No, it says M6 1969.
Yeah.
You knew what they were doing that night.
The love year. The sex year. Is there a sexier year? Maybe 1869.
A sexier. I don't know if there's a sex. I don't know.
What's the sexiest year? You think we'll be alive in 2069? I doubt it.
I'm going to try. That's all I care about now. What about 8008? That's a good year. That's going to be funny.
Yeah.
The boob year.
Right.
Year 8008.
How about the year 2511?
What is that one?
Ball. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. 8511.
Yeah,
that's ball.
I was so confused at first.
I mean, it was confusing, to be fair.
It was good though. I enjoyed it.
Well, a good ball joke is always a hit. That was worth it.
Where were we in this fucking story?
Well, it ended. It ostensibly ended. The thing.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about it. Yeah, because he was so wet. We talked about how wet this boy was.
Yes,
he was a wet guy. So he was like, luckily, I have these earplugs that I got earlier in this. I don't even. Why did he have earplugs?
They were just headphones.
They were headphones. He stole some because fucking Bryce has AirPods. He was like, fuck these wired shits.
Yeah.
Here you go, Slappy. You could wear them. So he's like, I'm so wet right now. I need to keep water from my ears. I'm going to put these earpods in.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, R.L. Stine, but it's like, I'm full of water. The only way to keep water out of me is to plug my holes.
Yeah. It also posits that he has actual ear holes. And it's just, it doesn't fit in there. It can't.
But it does.
And that is actually how Slappy survives. It's not the end. Yeah. He has the headphones in, and he lives on. He goes to the aunt's house. That's where we leave him.
Yeah, he couldn't hear shit.
Yeah.
Because he had earplugs in his wood ears.
That's right.
Because this cursed doll hears through the wooden carved ears that fit, presumably Apple branded earpods in. And they cover it. They're noise canceling.
Yeah.
Not plugged in. Are they plugged into anything? Little Slappy phone?
I think they're just in his little butt.
And it just immediately recognized it and turned on noise canceling.
Yeah.
And he couldn't hear it.
That's a magical feature of Slappy.
He's doing a special little fart, and he was getting the direct sound to his ears, and he couldn't hear the magic spell.
Yeah.
It's a special thing. Magic is a funny thing. Ask any sorcerer.
That's right.
It's bullshit.
So do we want to just talk about our good and bad?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. What was your good stuff?
I like the sentence, he is also a sorcerer, which
Yeah.
like I said, any article, book, whatever.
Yeah, that's like page 1 too, which is great.
Yeah, I'd said that chapter 1 I was blown away by the writing compared to other Stein stuff that we've read recently, to the point where I went on the Reddit and I was like, yo, they ghostwrite this shit? Just and just be like, anyone hear anything? And most people confirm, no, this is probably Stein. On page 8, the birth of Slappy I thought was paced pretty well, even if it was ridiculous. Page 16, it said Coben's eyes went wide as Darkwell pushed the key into the back of Isaac's head. Everyone heard a sharp click as the sorcerer turned the key. Isaac's eyes closed. His mouth fell open. His knees collapsed. He dropped to the floor. Coben shouted in horror as Isaac's head hit the floor and cracked open like a walnut. Gasps rose throughout the cottage as everyone stared at the wires and tubes inside his head.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Good shit.
That's good shit. Yeah. Christmas is totally weird down here, Reggie's mom said. She passed the salad bowl to Poppy. I had to go to the mall today, and the Santa was wearing shorts. I feel like they set the scene really well for Tampa and Florida in the winter.
Yeah.
With show and not tell, which
Yeah.
is the opposite of an R.L. Stine book. So I like that. The mom is definitely just hates life in the Poppy story, like the fucking second part. So he said, I think I know what you should get Poppy for Christmas, Reggie said. A muzzle, their mom suggested. It wasn't a very nice joke, but they all laughed, even Poppy. The mom the whole time is just like, hey, what should we get Mom? And she's like, more wine so I can deal with you, fucks.
Yeah.
There was a very topical, relevant, like, it's cultural references in this book that blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we don't get any of those. He says stuff that he thinks kids say and do, and they fall flat. But he talked about how Diego just spent nights and months playing Minecraft. Talked about Diego was supposed to get a PS5 for Christmas, but his parents couldn't get one. YouTube was referenced and Netflix.
Yeah.
Which all in conversation nowadays would have been like, yeah, you're on it. Which,
yeah.
hats off to you, R.L. Stine. I love when R.L. Stine talks to us as the reader on page 65. I don't even want to go back and look at that. On page 69, there was really good writing as the character walks out into the hallway. You hear the creaks of the hallway, and they talk about the old house. And then when he's with his sister Poppy in her room, you hear the creaks again, and they're sure it is Slappy. And they're like, that's Slappy in the hallway. He's coming for us. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot about Deshaun,
Mm-hmm.
who goes to the skate park. This is a great example of perfect writing, perfect diction, perfect everything. Is it going to be a chocolate cake? Deshaun asked after finishing at the sink. He was jerking off. He hoisted himself onto the stool at one end. I'm a chocolate freak. I remember reading and him just being like, it's going to be a chocolate cake. Settles himself. I'm a chocolate freak.
He's
Love that chocolate freak.
Yeah.
Oof.
There's a couple horny lines in this book.
Yeah, man. I'm rock hard. All right, what's your good?
Well,
You chocolate freak.
Chocolate Freak is great. Yeah, I would say page 1, good setting details. Like I said, he builds the scene really well for, whatever old timey cottage spook.
Cottage core.
Yeah. On page 4, when Darkwell is building Slappy, he calls him my little friend, which I think is cute. That's what I call my cat. On page 16, this whole twist and really this page rules. And this is when we find out Isaac is fake. And also the villagers scream, burn him. So it's pretty hardcore for an RL book. I thought it was cool when Slappy rips apart the other dummy. That's also pretty hardcore. And then, pages 80 to 83, I have Slappy. This is the second time in this book that Slappy murders. This time it's 3/4 of a family. So that's something. I like, as I said, that Slappy calls Bryce a good kid, and they're kind of friends. I think that's cute. Speaking of horny and chocolate freaks, Slappy a few times in this book, as you said, you talked about bad with all the A's. He says, "I'm a bad boy," and it's a little horny, and I think he deserves it. He can be horny. That's fine.
Slappy decides to be a Bart Simpson in this book.
That's
when he
right.
talks, he's just like cowabunga.
Yeah,
Like
he's like, "Don't have a cow." And then, of course, page 119, our buddy Bryce doing a triple ollie. I mean, who doesn't love to execute a perfect triple ollie?
We didn't talk about this yet.
The ollie zone, we have not. I mean, briefly.
We have not talked about the ollie zone. And it's funny that our buddy, Castleberry, has messaged us mid-episode, too, to talk about, to give us more tips on reaching our goals of doing a kickflip before our age of 40.
Caswell, good luck, because guess what? I suck. I can't be reached.
We're not good. I did buy soft trucks after, so Shredco at shred.co, company, local, went to the same high school as me, much younger, much more handsome. So he has a company teaching children to skateboard. Got some tennis courts in a town nearby, zoned for just skateboarding, also getting a cement park put in there, teaching kids all over to skateboard. Awesome cause, awesome company. You got us lessons to get kickflip lessons from him.
That's right.
We totally didn't land kickflips, but we impressed him a little. He was just like, yeah, most of you guys show up for these kind of things, and I have to teach you how to skate forward. And we were like, check this shit out.
Yeah.
And then he was like, time to learn how to ollie. And we were like, we could barely do that. And he was like, oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Evan, who was our instructor. Was very patient and just let us kind of do our thing. It was fun. It was embarrassing, I would say, for me. But it was a good time, and just fun. I will say, I don't know about you, Dave. My legs were killing me for days afterward. Really showcased how athletic you have to be, and also how out of shape I am.
Yeah, I'm a old fucking piece of shit.
Same,
because I was hurting for squirting. No, I was just in pain.
Yeah. But
rough.
It was a good time. But we have 5 years, something like that.
Around there,
a little less.
But R.L. Stine also interested in doing a kickflip because he definitely Googled what is skateboarding.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, Kaz, please shout out in the comments: is a triple ollie real?
So I have
his say no.
I shot this page over to him on Instagram, and I'll read his reaction.
Beautiful.
So here's what it says. It says, the skate park was crowded with kids and teenagers trying out their new boards that they got for the holidays. Legit. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The park had a 24-foot ledge and a kinked rail. And I'm like, oh, shit. This sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Sure.
But they headed right to the ollie zone to warm up.
Yeah. Which, look, I don't have a problem with the name. I think it's very funny.
The ollie zone just makes it like, I feel like there's a big square spray painted that says like ollie zone.
Yeah.
So it says, Bryce wiped out once coming down from a triple ollie. Which, like, a triple ollie, I imagine, is like, in a video game how you can jump, and then you can jump again, and then you can jump again.
It's the double jump, or the triple jump.
It's the triple jump. So I sent this to Kaz, and he said, holy shit, the ollie zone sounds amazing. I've never experienced a location labeled the ollie zone at a skate park, but that must be because I've never heard of a triple ollie. Man, I'm a poser.
Well, look, RL knows what's up. He's going to keep you honest.
Yeah. RL just made a professional enjoy Crux multi-year sponsored vintage. Vintage sounds weird.
Professional skateboarder.
Professional multi-year skateboarder. He made him a poser by introducing the idea of the newest and unattainable trick. 900 bullshit. Triple ollie. That's what we need to be reaching for, man.
Yeah.
I need you to ollie into the air.
Yeah.
Don't go down. I need you to go up again.
That's right.
Then I need you to get up again. Then you can come down.
Yeah.
That's when you'll impress me. Triple ollie.
Yeah.
And today, if you guys are trying to do kickflips, also sent from our buddy. He said, honestly, kickflips are fucked. I remember learning them as a kid, and I had some serious trust issues with them. I could always get my back foot on the board, but was scared to land with both feet on it. I had one piece of it. If I have one piece of advice, it would be to practice on carpet or grass to get yourself to figure out the timing. Also, the more time you put into it and practice, the faster you'll get it. Good luck. It's always the time is always clicking. 40 will be here faster than you know. So
oh, I know.
And it's funny because I got the soft trucks. I have an old ass Steve Barra Alien Workshop deck that I put them on, and I put them in the back of my car. And there was a beautiful day recently where I'm like, maybe I should practice. Then I thought, my wedding is in 2 weeks. My luck, crutches
Yeah.
wouldn't be great.
Absolutely.
So once all the important stuff happens,
Yeah.
it's time to practice. I'm ready. I'm going to hit this.
Yep.
And I'm going to film it. And we're going to mail it to R.L. Stine on a VHS tape for his tiny little VCR that he has in his dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll watch it and I'll be like, hello, I'm R.L. Stine. That was sick. Now show me a triple ollie, you pussy. Yeah, but all right. So what's your bad writing?
My bad writing is, like I said, the intro stuff. I won't get into it again, but I just think a lot of the tension is unearned. Darkwell's revenge again. The revenge being like Slappy scaring someone every day is confusing. If you're being killed, seems like a kind of low key revenge. Let's see. This is all shit I talked about on page 30. So there are moments where RL interjecting kind of slows the momentum of the story, and he'll do it at a few points, like at the end of a chapter as an addendum, and we just don't need it.
I actually forgot on page 65, he comes out and he's just like, yeah, the dummy's alive. This family's fucking stupid. What dumb kids.
Yeah.
Which was kind of mean for him to be like, what dumb kids.
Yeah.
And just be like, yo, you invented them, dude. Like,
Yeah.
stop shitting
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah. In a couple spots too, like I have page 40 and page 65, like he says that the dummy is like, we set up that the dummy's creepy and it's doing some shit, and then he'll say like, she didn't see the dummy blink, but she would probably be scared of that if she did. And then on page 65 again, none of them saw the dummy wink, but it did. And it's just like again and again we're using the same thing that is pretty stupid. And then page 89, Bryce thinks Slappy is a quote unquote man. That's what I got. How about you?
I forgot this from the good, so I'm just going to put it in there.
Yeah.
This is a great part of the book. Deshaun, great character. Love him. Triple ollie. He says, this is the part of the book where he says, they stopped for a traffic light. You dreamed about that doll? What do you do with it? Deshaun asked. He's talking about how he's been dreaming about Slappy.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you do with it? And I was like, Deshaun thinks he fucks the doll, which is funny as fuck. In the beginning, when they're like doing wizard shit, they say like, oh, they're coming to burn us out. As in like they're going to burn down the little hut. I Googled, and the only way I can see burning somebody out is to like cause them to lose energy and enthusiasm, which like, Arlstein's really good at for me. But he still gets a tiny suit in the Game of Thrones time, which is weird that everyone's dressed like wizards. And he's like, he made the doll. he put a little boy suit on him,
Yeah.
a double-breasted coat. And I'm like, yo, you're wearing wizard hats and fucking robes, and you're like, I will dress him like Frank Sinatra. Like, it doesn't fucking make
He's
sense.
gonna do it his way.
Yeah. The naming of Slappy sucked. At one point, Darkwell, Ephraim, he says, "You will make history," Darkwell declared. Evil history.
Oh my god.
At the end of page 34, the end of the chapter, it says, "And that's when all the scary stuff happened,"
Oh.
which is like something we would say about the
That's
book.
what I'm talking about. Like, that shit is unnecessary.
I feel like it's a rehash a lot of Living Dummy too, but you know, there's certain stuff where he makes it seem brand new, but he also talks about shit that has already happened. I'm like, you know, he could have handled a little bit better, but I get it.
Yeah.
There's a long time where Bryce's family, they talk about the shit happening and they all say, it's just so strange. Like, I felt like the dummy was here. And then the mom would be like, yeah, it's so strange that this happened. And then the other character would be like, yeah, our boat got a hole in it. It's so strange. And I'm like, come on, dude. Move on.
Yeah.
Page 70 through 71, every character is paced with ellipses between all of their sentences.
Yeah.
It would have worked for pacing, but it just actually, it all fell flat and it was paced awkwardly.
Yeah.
And there is a fucking grammatical error on page 113.
Oh, tell me.
There's a typo. If you want to flip to page 113.
Class. Mm-hmm.
It says, second sentence. Can you read that for me?
Sure. From But There Was?
Yes.
But there was no time for that his morning. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, they forgot the T. It should have been but there was no time for that this morning. Well, no, to be fair, there should have been a comma because you shouldn't start the sentence with but. But that's like R.L. Stine's favorite shit to do.
Yeah, but the egregious, I mean, that is egregious.
It's funny. Anytime I could find a typo in these books, I'm just like, fuck you, got him.
Yeah.
Got him. I feel good.
I mean, that's huge, yeah.
I got you guys. I'm going to send this in. I'm going to return this book. I want a good one. It's written right.
Oh, boy.
All right, what's your top spook and scare?
Okay. I also just want to add a quick addendum. The holes in the boat thing reminded me that I didn't mention that Slappy had tried to drill holes in the family's boat, but they ended up taking a different boat. So anyway.
Yeah, their friend pulled up and he was like, nice shitty boat. You like my good boat?
Yeah,
and the kids were like,
yeah.
Oh, good boat. And the parents were like, yeah, this was a surprise. We were doing good boat today.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't live in Florida, so I'm not going to pretend like I know. I imagine this is something you guys do all the time. You try to go to your shitty boat, but good boat pulls up.
Mm-hmm. I think it does.
But like, if you're going to die because you can't do evil, that boat's going to sink. And boats, I imagine, are expensive and you have to pay to like dock them. So like financially, fucked.
Yeah. So actually that's an evil deed. He should be surviving.
But he learned right after that, you don't have to do evil.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do that.
I have to. He doesn't.
Yeah. I don't know if we mentioned that either. That Slappy, that was a lie. Actually, he didn't have to do evil deeds. He could just exist.
Yeah, he showed up and he was like, "Hey, you thought I was dead, but I'm a wizard. Also, I haven't seen you in 200 years. I've been off doing stuff." Where do you think he was? If you're a wizard and you hang out in Europe for 200 years, what are you doing?
I think he was in hell, probably. I think he was enjoying hell.
Hell sounds so like Jonah Vasquez, who did Invader Zim, did a Johnny the Homicidal Maniac comic that I haven't read since middle school. I imagine it probably isn't as good. Might be. Who knows? I loved his version of Hell and Heaven, where in Hell, it's just all the normal people, and they all just have to live in Earth together without the good people.
Okay.
So it's like traffic sucks and everyone's a dick.
Right.
But like, that's where premarital sex and fast cars and cool and rock and roll is. So it's like good but bad. Heaven is everyone's content, so they all just sit in chairs and are content.
Yeah. Well, that's like Dante's Purgatory is just like it's like a big mansion on the river, and their punishment is that you don't get into heaven, but you kind of just are there with other people.
Having
it's like
premarital sex and listening to
right.
AC/DC.
Yeah, it's like the real world.
Yeah.
And then, but you're not in hell, so that's nice.
Yeah, not being in hell is like a perk.
Yeah, the middle ground. I'll just live in this mansion and kind of not be satisfied. Basically, it's just like life.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But you have free housing, so it sounds kind
that's
of better.
true. And
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about healthcare, probably.
Yes, you don't have to die, so that's sick.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Do you have a job
That's
there?
pretty lit. You probably don't have to work. What would you do?
Man,
I don't know.
this
Fish in that hell river?
Death is sounding way too good. We can't do this to people.
Yeah. I have to.
Oh yeah, but it sucks, and you shit blood in your ass. You're dumb, and don't do it.
Mm.
Everyone live, so we can talk.
Be
with you.
safe. Live your life. My spook and scare is probably Slappy murdering most of a family. How about you?
I liked when Poppy and her bro heard the. By the way, in the end, it wasn't Slappy walking through the hallway; it was their dad. But just
Right.
being like, that's the sound of people walking. Slappy's coming for us. We're dead.
Mhm.
And it hit really hard. Also, Isaac's head popping hit really hard because like you can read R.L. Stine's scares 80 pages before, and that one actually shook me. Like it hit, and I was like, oh shit! Like the surprise actually happened in a children's book, and it was shocking. So like, you win, R.L. Stine.
Yeah.
You did it.
Well done. Who's your BD? Your best dressed?
I think it's gonna be Slappy. He was the first person to ever wear a suit.
I'm going to agree. I'm gonna say that Darkwell invented suits for Slappy, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
and he's gonna
I
like the
that.
way he looks.
He is. Alt title.
I'm gonna borrow from my boy Slappy when he's filling up that backpack. He makes a little joke and he says, "You're gonna get a D for drenched." I'm gonna say D for drenched.
So I hate this title of this book because it's called Slappy Beware. But that's not a pun.
No, it's nothing.
It literally doesn't mean anything.
No. Like, what is it? Is it a warning for Slappy, or are we beware of Slappy? But then the sentence doesn't make sense.
But they'll do like Slappy Birthday or like something like that where it's like, it's a pun. But this one isn't. It's just Slappy Beware.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Happy Beware isn't anything. I can't think of anything it's supposed to be. It just sounds like it's supposed to be something, but it's not.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is Goosebumps, Dirty 30 Spectacular, 30 years of slapping off.
Slapping off is great.
Because that's a pun. I did it.
It's true.
And it actually said it's the 30th anniversary.
I love it.
So
well done.
Yeah. Luscious Liquor is Grover the dog for me.
I had same. And our witch, I mean, it's got to be Darkwell, right? Did you do Darkwell?
Darkwell is literally a fucking witch.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, that's it.
Oh, no. There's one more question we got to ask, right?
Oh, God, I've been so delinquent on this, and I apologize to all of our listeners who always want to know from Brian, friend of the pod. Hey, is this my pube?
It's interesting. And is this one 30 years old? It's important to know.
Yes. Is this my 3-decade-old pube? Please let me know.
All right.
Well, we did it. Another sensational episode. Everyone's going to be talking about it. Shout out to all of our listeners and all our pals. Really appreciate all you guys reaching out all the time. Warms my little heart. Warms both of our little hearts. We love talking to you guys.
We're getting a lot of listens on this podcast, which is crazy because we don't really do it. We don't really do anything.
No.
But the thing is, like, people love to reach out to us and talk and share things on Instagram, which is awesome. You can still reach us there.
That's the place to do it, I think.
I think so too. And we've been getting a lot of fun messages from people. There's a guy named Stony Blunted who has been sharing his like crazy Goosebumps mashup art.
Okay.
Shout out to him. He's been sending us a ton of stuff.
Hell yeah.
We've been getting stuff from Scrub TW0, of course, our buddy Caswell Berry, Milky T, our buddy Elijah, who is super cool, fun guy, great dad, pops onto Twitch with us, Daycare Dittos and stuff.
Right on.
Every FNFF podcast. Nick Siegel, another good guy, listening forever. Of course, fake Mike Jones, not the one who has to pay money for fucked up shit. Good dude. Tons of people that have just been there for so long. Also, our buddy R.L. Stine, who for the first time in a long time messaged us on Instagram.
Oh my God. Huge development.
You bought me a skateboard with R.L. Stine's face on it.
Right.
And R.L. Stine decided to comment and say something about it.
Huge. I was so excited about that.
Papa has seen us.
Yes. What did he say?
Felt
Nice
good.
looking board?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Hold on. Was it on?
It was on.
Actually, it may not have been on.
It was on yours, I think.
Yeah, it was on my my personal message to. Let me find this shit. Yeah, so our buddy, best friend, good friend, one of our best buds, he said, "Nice looking board."
Yeah.
And we said back to him, "A face that good makes anything a work of art."
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. And he just spanked it from there. Thank you, RLS. Thank you to you and your giant dick. We really appreciate it.
We salute you.
Yeah. All right, so we'll see you guys next week for our weekly episodes that we do all the time.
Hey, be safe out there. Get your little boosters and your flu shots. And what else, Dave?
It's trick-or-treating time. Make sure to eat candies without razor blades, but also spread the joy of Halloween.
Mm-hmm. What's everybody going to be for Halloween? Please sound off in the comments. Are you going to be a minion? Which minion will you be? I'm a bit of a Stuart myself.
What are you being for Halloween?
Nothing.
What?
I'm, there's nothing going on. It's like
There is.
Well, there is, as you mentioned before, Dave. Not to dox you, but you're getting hitched, and everybody say congratulations to Dave or else. And I'm very excited to dress up for the party that you'll be having. But on the actual day,
no.
Yeah. I'm just
I'm gonna be a groom.
Yep.
But the night before our rehearsal dinner, we're having a Halloween party.
Yes.
So
that I do have something, but I don't want to tell you.
I'm excited. I hope it's silly. I hope it's a silly joke.
What about you? Can you say, or you're keeping it close to the vest?
For that one, I actually bought, because there's photos and shit. I bought a Halloween suit, and I'm gonna do makeup. So I bought another suit, but it's a Halloween one. It's ridiculous.
Hell yeah!
And then I'm thinking about doing full King Diamond face paint.
I love it.
And it's gonna be cool because I'm meeting my fiance's family who've come over from escaped Cuba to go to Spain and come to America, so that this could be their first U.S. wedding, so they can see me with full fucking metal ass face paint at this wedding. It's gonna be not at the wedding, but at the rehearsal dinner. Some of them are gonna see me in my Well, we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll do a special episode for my divorce, but we'll find out. But
until
this
then,
one goes out to the country of Cuba and all the people that all, it's great.
It's great.
It's
Cubans, we love you.
If you want to learn about Cuba, this is a weird thing to say. If you want to learn about Cuba, I learned so much about Cuba through Conan O'Brien.
Oh,
Conan O'Brien has a show on Netflix where they just collect all the little snippets he did when he visits countries, and he does an incredible job capturing the culture of Cuba, because I watched that, and then after talking to people who have lived there multiple years, people different generations, I'm just like, damn, he did a good job. So yeah, check that out.
Hell yeah.
It's a weird plug at the end.
Check out Conan O'Brien, everybody.
Yeah, check out Cuba, by the way. Happy Halloween. Ooh.
I'm scared. Okay, bye.
I gotta pee so bad. All right, bye.